At the beginning of the story, we were introduced to 4 kids named Luke Castellan, Grover Underwood, Thalia Grace, and Annabeth Chase. They were running through a dark forest, desperately trying to reach Camp Half-Blood, a safe place where children who were half human and half god lived. These special kids were known as demigods, but terrifying Cyclops monsters were chasing them through the woods. Grover told everyone they were almost there, but suddenly a giant tree came flying through the air and crashed onto him, trapping his leg underneath. Luke and Annabeth quickly rushed over and pulled him free. But just then, the Cyclops started getting closer. Thalia, who was the daughter of Zeus, told the others to keep running while she distracted the monster. She bravely stepped forward and called the Cyclops toward her. The others finally made it safely into the camp, but one of the Cyclops grabbed Thalia and violently threw her aside. She was dying, but Zeus saw how brave she had been. To save her life, he transformed her into a magical tree. That magical tree created a powerful shield around Camp Half-Blood, protecting it from monsters and keeping everyone inside safe for years. After that, the story shifted to the present day, where we met Percy Jackson, the son of Poseidon, the god of the sea. At Camp Half-Blood, a competition was taking place. The challenge was to climb a giant spinning tower and grab a ring at the top. Percy climbed up the tower, while Clarisse LaRue, the daughter of Ares, climbed alongside him. Both of them were fighting to reach the top first. Clarisse tried knocking Percy down by pushing a pole toward him, but Percy dodged it and managed to climb higher before her. Just then, one of the campers got his foot tangled in a rope ladder, hanging below the tower. The boy started screaming for help. The moment Percy saw that, he immediately jumped down to save him. Clarisse smirked, knowing Percy would lose the game. Percy successfully rescued the boy, but he fell to the ground himself and was eliminated from the challenge. Clarisse ended up winning the game. Afterward, Clarisse mocked Percy for losing, but Annabeth defended him, saying he only lost because he chose to save someone's life. Annabeth was the daughter of Athena, the goddess of wisdom. Clarisse angrily walked away after hearing that. Soon, Dionysus arrived at the camp. All the kids called him Mr. D. He told Percy to clean up the game area before casually walking off. Percy quietly started cleaning everything by himself. Later, Percy sat beside a small pond. When he moved his injured hand near the water magically healed his wounds. Since he was Poseidon's son, he had the power to control water. Feeling upset and lonely, Percy looked toward the ocean and spoke to his father, asking why he never talked to him, but no answer came. Disappointed, Percy walked away, not realizing that Poseidon had actually been listening the whole time. Soon after, a strange boy arrived to meet Mr. D and Chiron. His name was Tyson, and he was half Cyclops and half god. Tyson revealed that Poseidon was his father too. Because of that, Percy was called over, since the two of them were technically brothers. Chiron explained that Tyson was different from the other campers. His father was Poseidon, but his mother was a nymph, which was why Tyson had been born as a Cyclops. When Percy first saw Tyson, he was completely shocked. Tyson was huge, awkward, and had only one eye. Later, Tyson sat in the camp cafeteria with Percy and Grover, while all the other kids stared at him nervously. Even Annabeth looked uncomfortable and angry, because she hated Cyclops. After all, a Cyclops had killed Thalia years ago. Tyson happily told Percy that their father had sent him to the camp. Just then, Clarisse showed up again and started making fun of Percy, but Tyson suddenly said he smelled something like a bull nearby. At that exact moment, the entire camp started shaking violently. Everyone rushed outside in fear and saw a massive mechanical fire-breathing bull attacking the magical barrier around the camp. The creature smashed through the shield and charged straight inside. Panic spread everywhere as the monster attacked the campers. The giant bull blasted fire from its mouth while everyone ran for their lives. Percy grabbed a piece of cloth and waved it around to distract the creature. The bull immediately locked onto him and charged. Right then, Clarisse jumped into the fight too, but the monster attacked her as well. Tyson suddenly grabbed the bull's horns with his bare hands and stopped it from moving. The bull blasted fire directly at Tyson, but nothing happened to him because Cyclops were naturally fireproof. A moment later, the monster started chasing Grover through the camp. Percy quickly threw a chain at the bull and wrapped it around the monster, but the creature dragged Percy across the ground with incredible force. The raging bull slammed Percy against a wall and charged at him again, but its horns got stuck in the stone. As the monster opened its mouth to blast more fire, Percy pulled out his magical pen, which transformed into the sword given to him by Poseidon, and threw it straight into the bull's stomach. A second later, the monster exploded into pieces. Even after defeating it, Percy was completely shaken by what had just happened. Just then, Luke Castellan suddenly appeared in front of Percy Jackson. Luke warned him that Chiron had been hiding hiding things from him, especially the prophecy. He told Percy to start looking for answers on his own, and before Percy could ask anything else, Luke mysteriously vanished. Meanwhile, everyone around the camp was searching for each other after the attack. That was when Annabeth Chase noticed something horrifying. Thalia's magical tree was slowly dying. Everyone rushed over to it. Chiron examined the strange liquid covering the tree and realized it was poison. The poison was killing the tree, which meant the magical shield protecting the camp was weakening too. Percy immediately blamed Luke. He believed Luke had poisoned the tree and sent the mechanical bull to attack the camp because he wanted demigods to join his side. Chiron started working on an antidote for the poison, but Percy kept thinking about what Luke had said. He finally asked Chiron about the prophecy. Instead of answering directly, Chiron sent Percy to a small house where an ancient spirit called Oracle of Delphi lived. Percy asked the spirit about the prophecy, but first, the oracle told him the story of the past. Long before the gods ruled the world, everything was controlled by the powerful titan Cronus. Cronus was so cruel that he even devoured his own children. But 3 of his sons, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, managed to escape. Together, they defeated Cronus and buried his remains deep inside Tartarus, the darkest part of the underworld where the gods imprisoned their worst enemies. Then the oracle finally revealed the prophecy. One day, Cronus would return, and only the child of one of those 3 gods could stop him. If that child chose the right path, the world would be saved. But if the child turned evil, the entire world would fall into destruction. The prophecy also said that the child had to reach the age of 20 before the final battle could happen. When Percy told Chiron everything, Chiron explained something terrifying. Out of all the children of Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, Percy was the only one still alive. That meant the prophecy was most likely about him. At the same time, Annabeth and Grover Underwood were desperately searching for a way to save Thalia's tree. Eventually, Annabeth found information about a magical artifact called the Golden Fleece. The 2 of them rushed to Dionysus, also known as Mr. D, and explained that the Golden Fleece had the power to heal anything. If they could find it, they could save Thalia's tree and restore the camp's magical barrier. But Mr. D warned them that every satyr who had gone searching for the Golden Fleece had never returned. Hearing that made Grover nervous immediately. Mr. D explained that the last known location of the fleece was inside the Sea of Monsters, the place humans called the Bermuda Triangle. It was one of the most dangerous places in the world, and he refused to let them go there. In the next scene, Mr. D gathered all the campers together. He announced that until Thalia's tree was healed, everyone inside Camp Half-Blood remained in danger. Then, pretending the idea was his own, he explained that the Golden Fleece was the only thing capable of saving the tree because it had the power to heal anything it touched. Instead of choosing Percy and Annabeth, Mr. D assigned the mission to Clarice LaRue and another satyr. Both of them were excited to leave on the quest, but Annabeth was clearly frustrated by the decision. The next day, Percy and Annabeth secretly approached Grover and asked him to join them on their own mission to find the Golden Fleece. At first, Grover refused because he was scared, but eventually he agreed to help them. That night, the 3 of them quietly snuck out of Camp Half-Blood. But right before leaving, Tyson followed them and insisted on coming too. Tyson explained that the Golden Fleece was guarded by a Cyclops, so having another Cyclops with them could actually help. Grover agreed immediately, but Annabeth still didn't trust Cyclops at all. To make Tyson look more normal, Annabeth gave him a magical perfume that could temporarily fix someone's appearance. When she sprayed it on Tyson's face, he suddenly appeared to have 2 normal eyes. She handed him the perfume bottle so he could keep using it once the magic started fading away. Grover explained that they needed to travel toward the southern coast of Florida. To get there, Annabeth blew into a magical whistle and summoned a ghostly taxi. The group climbed inside and realized the taxi was being driven by 3 creepy old witches. Percy told them they needed to go to Florida, and one of the witches instantly slammed the meter on before speeding off like a maniac. As the ride got crazier, Percy noticed something strange. The witches didn't even have an eye. One of the witches started searching around the car before finally pulling out a single eyeball and placing it into her socket. The 3 witches immediately started fighting over whose turn it was to use the eye, causing the taxi to speed up even more dangerously. Percy panicked and yelled that they were all going to die. But one of the witches laughed and reminded him that according to the prophecy, he couldn't die before turning 20 years old. Percy quickly started asking questions about the prophecy and even threatened to throw their magical eye out the window if they didn't answer him. Finally, the witches gave him a strange set of numbers and cryptically told him that when the time came, he would understand what they meant. A few moments later, Annabeth noticed the taxi meter rising insanely fast and worried they wouldn't have enough money to pay. The witches instantly threw all of them out of the taxi, right in the middle of Washington, D.C. As the group continued walking through the streets, a group of mysterious men suddenly appeared, grabbed Grover Underwood, and disappeared disappeared with him before anyone could react. That was when Percy Jackson realized the truth. Luke Castellan was searching for the Golden Fleece too, and because he needed a satyr to track it down, he had kidnapped Grover. Percy immediately said they had to find Luke if they wanted to rescue Grover. Annabeth Chase told them she knew exactly where they could get information about Luke. She led everyone to a shipping store called Olympus Parcel Service, where they met Hermes, Luke's father, and the messenger god. Hermes guided them through a magical doorway into a massive room where enchanted packages were constantly being sorted and shipped around the world. Percy explained that Luke had kidnapped their friend, and they needed help finding him. Hermes then spoke to the two snakes wrapped around his magical staff and ordered them to track Luke down. After that, he handed the staff to one of the workers. Before they left, Hermes gave them a magical bottle containing a powerful storm trapped inside it. He specifically warned Annabeth never to remove the cap unless absolutely necessary. Then he handed them a magical tape that could make anything disappear. Hermes smiled and told them both items would definitely help during their journey. A little later, the worker returned with Hermes' staff, and the snakes revealed that Luke was aboard a yacht currently sailing near the coast. The three of them quickly rushed to the beach, where they spotted Luke's yacht far out in the ocean. The problem was, they had no boat to reach it. That was when Tyson stepped forward and said their father could help. Tyson walked toward the water and called out to Poseidon, explaining that they were trying to save Camp Half-Blood and needed his help to chase Luke down. Suddenly, a giant hippocampus, a magical sea creature that looked like a horse mixed with a fish, rose out of the ocean. The three of them climbed onto its back and happily rode across the waves at incredible speed. Within minutes, the creature brought them right beside Luke's yacht. The group secretly climbed aboard the yacht, trying not to get caught. But before they could go any farther, they were discovered by Chris Rodriguez, a camper from Camp Half-Blood who had joined Luke's side. Chris captured them and dragged them directly to Luke. Percy immediately demanded to know where Grover was. Luke calmly explained that he had already sent Grover into the Sea of Monsters to retrieve the Golden Fleece for him. Then Luke revealed something far more terrifying, a giant coffin holding the remains of Cronus. Luke explained that once he got the Golden Fleece, he planned to use its healing powers to resurrect Cronus completely. He wanted Cronus to destroy the gods and wipe out Olympus forever. Luke angrily claimed that the Olympian gods had betrayed their own father, Cronus, long ago, and now he planned to betray them the same way. After revealing his plan, Luke locked Percy, Annabeth, and Tyson inside a prison cell on the yacht. While trapped inside, Percy noticed his backpack hanging just outside the cell. Inside the bag was the magical disappearing tape Hermes had given them. Percy focused his powers on the ocean and created huge waves that violently rocked the yacht back and forth. The shaking caused the backpack to fall close enough for Annabeth to grab it. She quickly pulled out the magical tape and handed it to Percy. Percy placed the tape across the prison bars, and instantly the metal bars disappeared completely. The three of them escaped from the cell and ran through the yacht. Soon, they tried escaping using one of the lifeboats, but Chris stopped them before they could leave. Percy told Annabeth and Tyson to lower the lifeboat into the water while he stayed behind to hold Chris off. A fight broke out between Percy and Chris. After a brutal struggle, Percy finally knocked Chris into the ocean, but when Percy climbed onto the upper deck, Luke's men surrounded him from every side. Meanwhile, Annabeth and Tyson managed to lower the lifeboat into the water, but Tyson accidentally dropped the engine into the sea. Percy shouted for them to leave without him. That was when Annabeth remembered the magical bottle Hermes had given them. She removed the cap, and a massive stream of water exploded out like a powerful jet engine. Annabeth pointed the bottle backward, causing the lifeboat to shoot forward across the ocean at high speed. At the same time, Percy used his water powers to create a giant barrier of water, stopping Luke's men from reaching Annabeth and Tyson. Then Percy floated across the surface of the ocean and caught up to the lifeboat himself. Luke chased after him, but Percy blasted him backward with a huge wave before finally climbing into the boat. Together, the three of them sailed deeper toward the dangerous Sea of Monsters. After some time, the magical perfume Annabeth had used on Tyson finally wore off, and his face returned to normal. Tyson tried using the perfume again, but the bottle was empty. Percy didn't care anymore. Instead, he handed Tyson the magical storm bottle and trusted him to steer the boat. Annabeth looked at Percy in disbelief and told him that if she were in his place, she never would have trusted Tyson. Percy looked at Annabeth Chase and told her Tyson really wasn't that bad. He couldn't understand why she hated Cyclops so much. Annabeth grew quiet for a moment before finally telling him the truth. When she was younger, she and Thalia Grace had been trying to reach Camp Half-Blood together when Cyclops attacked them. Thalia sacrificed herself to save everyone, and that was the moment she became the magical tree protecting the camp. Hearing the story made Percy Jackson emotional too. For the first time, he truly understood Annabeth's pain. Soon, they finally entered the Sea of Monsters, the terrifying place humans called the Bermuda Triangle. But suddenly, their boat stopped moving. During the chaos, Tyson had accidentally dropped the magical bottle into the ocean. Annabeth immediately started yelling at him. Then they noticed giant fins circling around them in the water. At first, they thought they were sharks, but they quickly realized something far worse was beneath them. It was the monstrous sea creature Charybdis. The giant monster opened its enormous mouth, creating a massive whirlpool that began pulling the boat straight toward it. Percy tried using his powers to fight back, but inside the Sea of Monsters, his abilities barely worked. A few seconds later, the entire boat was swallowed whole. Inside the creature's stomach, they unexpectedly found Clarisse LaRue, who had also been trapped there. Everyone climbed aboard Clarisse's ship, which was strangely operated by zombie sailors, because the ship had once belonged to her father, Ares. Suddenly, the entire ship shook violently. The digestion process inside Charybdis had started, and powerful forces were pulling everything deeper into the monster's stomach. To escape, Percy came up with a risky plan. He told Clarisse they could use the ship's cannon to blast a hole through the creature's body. Clarisse agreed immediately. Percy climbed up to the cannon, aimed carefully, and fired directly into the stomach wall. The blast ripped a giant hole through the monster, and the ship finally burst back out into the open ocean. Once they were safely back above the water, one of the zombie sailors asked Clarisse where they should go next. She ordered the ship to head northwest, but Percy suddenly noticed glowing map lines across the ocean, along with the same mysterious numbers the witches had given him earlier. Percy realized the numbers were guiding him. He quickly said they needed to head southwest instead, because that was where they would find both the Golden Fleece and Polyphemus, the Cyclops guarding it. Clarisse finally trusted Percy's instincts, and the group changed course toward the southwest. After some time, they spotted a strange island with an abandoned amusement park built on top of it. Tyson explained that the Golden Fleece had to be there. Long ago, the goddess Circe had built the amusement park, and many demigod children used to visit it. But one day, a Cyclops arrived and devoured everyone on the island. Since then, the place had been completely abandoned. Soon, Percy, Annabeth, Tyson, and Clarisse entered the eerie amusement park to search for Polyphemus. They eventually found the entrance to an old roller coaster ride, and the giant broken gate made Percy realize that something huge had escaped from inside. He instantly understood that Polyphemus was hiding somewhere in the tunnels beneath the ride. The group climbed into the roller coaster and slowly traveled deeper into the dark tracks. Eventually, they reached a cave where they finally found Grover Underwood. Inside the cave stood the giant Cyclops Polyphemus himself. To survive, Grover had disguised himself as a Cyclops too. Because Polyphemus was starving and could barely see clearly, he hadn't realized Grover was actually a satyr. When Percy called out to him, Grover became incredibly happy to see them. He explained that he had tried many times to steal the Golden Fleece, but could never get close enough to take it. Percy quickly came up with a plan. Grover distracted Polyphemus, while Percy and the others tried sneaking toward the Golden Fleece. But the Cyclops suddenly caught their scent and started chasing them through the cave. Tyson stepped in front of Polyphemus and tried talking to him peacefully, but the giant Cyclops refused to listen. At that exact moment, Percy leaped through the air and grabbed the Golden Fleece directly off Polyphemus's shoulder. The Cyclops roared in anger and violently shoved Tyson aside. Tyson crashed out of the cave and was knocked unconscious. Now completely furious, Polyphemus charged after the group. Percy, Annabeth, and Clarisse kept tossing the Golden Fleece back and forth between each other to stop him from catching it. During the chaos, Grover's disguise finally fell apart, revealing his true form. The moment Polyphemus realized Grover wasn't a Cyclops, he became even more enraged. The group barely managed to escape from the cave, and Tyson used a giant boulder to seal the entrance shut behind them. Grover happily said they had finally completed the mission, but before anyone could celebrate, Luke suddenly appeared with his men and surrounded them. Luke Castellan demanded the Golden Fleece, but Percy refused to hand it over. Luke immediately fired a crossbow bolt at Percy, but Tyson jumped in front of him and took the hit instead. Tyson fell off the cliff below, badly wounded. Watching his brother disappear shocked Percy and left him heartbroken. Luke captured all of them shortly afterward. In the next scene, Luke had everyone tied to the poles of an old roller coaster track. Percy sadly told Annabeth that the prophecy was coming true and that all of this was happening because of him. But Annabeth refused to give up. She told Percy the prophecy had not been fulfilled yet and that he still had the power to choose his own destiny. She reminded him that all of them believed in him and that he was their leader. Meanwhile, Luke placed the golden fleece on top of Cronus's coffin to begin bringing the Titan back to life. Inspired by Annabeth's words, Percy secretly pulled out his sword from his pocket and carefully cut the ropes around Grover's hands. A few moments later, Grover freed everyone else. As soon as the golden fleece was placed on the coffin, the entire tomb started glowing with powerful energy. Percy Jackson rushed forward to grab the fleece and stop the ritual, but Luke Castellan blocked him and attacked with his sword. Right then, Tyson suddenly returned and stopped Luke. Tyson had survived the fall because there had been water below the cliff, and the water had healed him completely. Percy was overwhelmed with relief and happily hugged his brother. But before they could celebrate, the coffin exploded open. Cronus had returned. His body was still broken into several pieces, but those pieces slowly began pulling themselves together. Luke proudly stepped forward and told Cronus that he was his grandson and the one responsible for bringing him back to life. But the moment Luke finished speaking, Cronus grabbed him and swallowed him whole without hesitation. Now fully awake, the Titan started trying to devour everyone around him. During the chaos, he even swallowed Grover Underwood. Luke's followers became terrified and started running away in panic. Percy attacked Cronus's leg with his sword, and the moment the blade struck him, Cronus's leg shattered apart and flew back into the coffin. That was because Percy's sword was the same cursed blade once used to defeat Cronus long ago, the legendary sword of Poseidon. Realizing the sword could destroy him, Cronus tried stealing it from Percy, but Percy grabbed the blade tightly and shouted that the sword had been given to him by the very god who defeated Cronus the first time, his father, Poseidon. Cronus laughed and told Percy that his destiny had been decided long ago. Then the Titan grabbed Percy in his massive hand and started crushing him, but Percy sliced through Cronus's fingers with the sword and escaped. Looking directly at the Titan, Percy declared that he would write his own destiny. Then he charged forward and drove the sword straight into Cronus's chest, finally destroying him once again. As Cronus collapsed, both Grover and Luke were released from inside him, but Luke ended up falling deep into Polyphemus's cave, while Cronus's broken body was pulled back into the coffin. Tyson quickly removed the golden fleece from the tomb before anything else could happen. Meanwhile, Annabeth Chase was looking toward Percy with relief, but suddenly Luke's monster pet attacked her from behind. The creature struck her so hard that she fell to the ground badly wounded. Grover and Clarice LaRue rushed in and fought the monster together. During the battle, they sliced off its tail, causing the creature to turn into ashes and die instantly. But Annabeth's injuries were severe. She stopped breathing and died in Percy's arms. Completely devastated, Percy placed the golden fleece over her body. The magical fleece began glowing brightly, and moments later, Annabeth came back to life. After waking up, Annabeth thanked Tyson because he had saved Percy's life earlier during the battle. Percy then handed the golden fleece to Clarice and told her that since this had officially been her mission, she deserved to bring the fleece back to Camp Half-Blood herself. Later, everyone watched as Clarice placed the golden fleece onto Thalia's magical tree. Instantly, the tree began healing. All the dead leaves that had fallen to the ground rose back into the branches, turning green and healthy again. The magical barrier surrounding Camp Half-Blood returned to full strength, protecting the camp once more. Everyone cheered with excitement and applauded while praising Clarice for completing the quest. Afterward, Percy spoke privately with Chiron. Percy happily said he was glad the prophecy was finally over, but Chiron warned him that he couldn't say the prophecy had ended yet. He reminded Percy that he was still one of the last surviving children of the three great gods. That meant many dangerous things could still happen before Percy reached his 20th birthday. The next day, Annabeth gathered everyone near Thalia's tree. She explained that the golden fleece was far more powerful than they had realized. Then she showed everyone something shocking beneath the tree. Lying there was Thalia Grace herself. When the golden fleece healed the tree, it had also brought Thalia back to life. At that moment, Percy realized he was no longer the only surviving child of the great gods. And suddenly, he understood something terrifying. Maybe the prophecy had never been about him at all. And with that shocking revelation, the movie came to an end. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to check out more epic movie stories on the channel. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.